request with the loudest round of applause. So, Mr. A.S. Kiran, sir, to kindly come and join us onto the stage, please.
Good afternoon to all of you. It's indeed a great privilege to be present here and participate in this program. Activity of using space for a whole lot of development and also to remain relevant and remain competent. One among the equals is an example, is an activity which needs to happen. Truly, human being on this planet Earth started his journey, initially conquered land, conquered ocean, conquered airspace, and now you are seeing an era where conquering space itself is becoming a big activity. And if you look at India, India started its space program at a time we were a fledgling democracy, struggling to provide food, shelter, and education to its citizens after centuries of external rule and control. In 1957, when humanity got a new capability, a disruptive technological capability of taking an object beyond Earth, which happened by virtue of Russia putting the first object into space orbiting Earth. Russia also went ahead. They put the first dog, first man, first woman, and they were going ahead creating, you can say, news items year after year. And the other superpower, which was always thinking that they are ahead of the Russians, were feeling belittled. So they came up with an idea that we should do something to break this all first happening from Russia. So they decided they'll put the man on moon, and then they went ahead and did. So at that point of time, space technology was nothing but competition between two superpowers who is trying to demonstrate who is more capable and who is more powerful. And India in 1957, like I said, was a fledgling democracy. And we had great visionary people in this country like Dr. Sarabhai, Homi Bhabha, who were looking at how this disruptive technology of putting an object beyond Earth can contribute to India's growth and rapid development in solving the problems it faces. So what Dr. Sarabhai did was, in many ways, using his friendship with Americans, Russians, French, and Germans, brought in sounding rockets in the form of kits, got it assembled in Tumba, Equatorial Rocket Launching Site. There also convincing his friends that India has a unique, in Tumba is a geomagnetic equator, and if you conduct upper atmospheric research there, it is beneficial for the scientific and technical community. So with that, sounding rockets was brought and got assembled in a dilapidated church. And the priest of the church was used to convince the fishermen that you allow us to conduct these launch experiments, one day the country will benefit. As though what he had promised was made a reality, 1999 onwards, India, using its satellites orbiting Earth, looked at the color of the ocean in 8 different wavelengths. Using that, identified the chlorophyll. Through that, the food chain of the fish. And it was possible to tell the fishermen where exactly in the ocean you can catch your fish. This information was getting disseminated through fisher communities, through pager and electronic signboards in the Fishermen's Association. This act alone saved to the country between 10 to 15,000 crores a year, because the amount of petrol and diesel the fishermen have to spend in reaching the fishing spot is reduced, time is reduced, and also the effort is reduced. Today, with our Navic constellation, which you know is a sort of an equivalent for replacing GPS, a small battery-operated gadget gets fitted to the boat of the fisherman, and this gadget picks its own location in terms of latitude, longitude, and a mobile in the hands of the fisherman. Mobile doesn't have any connectivity to any terrestrial tower, because you can imagine few kilometers into the ocean, no terrestrial tower can reach you. But this handset in the hands of the fisherman communicates with the battery operated gadget fitted on the boat, tells him through a video compass where he has to go for fishing. Not only that, it alerts him in his mother tongue if the conditions are going to be unbearable, state roughness is going to be unbearable, weather is going to be heavy winds or rain. It gives him in his mother tongue an alert. And many times you also see the fishermen being captured by our neighboring countries. There also the gadget alerts him, you are approaching international boundaries, be careful. So you can see in this one example, a person who does not know reading or writing is getting the benefit of the most advanced technology of a rocket being built, satellite put into orbit, and through that information reaching a person who does not know reading or writing. In a very similar manner, in 1975, India conducted an experiment called Satellite Instructional Television Experiment. This experiment demonstrated to the country that if you have to rapidly disseminate information and bring in communication, it's only possible through space technology. At that time, Dr. Sarabhai had convinced Americans to allow us to borrow one of the most advanced technology satellite they had built, which is called ATSF. It was moved over Indian longitude for 1 year, and in 1975, exactly 50 years to today, ISRO demonstrated in 2,400 villages of our country using a mechanism which you are very familiar today, like a direct-to-home television with a quarter-meter antenna on your rooftop and a small set-top box on your table. Equivalent of that at that time was a 10-foot diameter chicken mesh antenna with a half a rack of equipment and black and white television sets of ECIL established in these 2,400 villages. And for 1 year, ISRO demonstrated to the country that you can reach different parts of the country if you use this space technology. And it was after this, also you can visualize in 1975, if you tell the person in the Delhi that what you are speaking can be heard all over the country simultaneously, you can imagine the kind of appreciation that it will get and the difficulty it will face in getting the approval for the project. Alternative to that was available then would have been every kilometer you put a microwave tower, and 3.25 square kilometers of India, you can figure out what would be the requirement, how much time it would have taken. So another very important thing was by looking at what happens over the Indian subcontinent, taking cloud pictures every few hours or every half an hour, you can find out where a cyclone will hit the Indian coast. India, which is 11,500 kilometer long coastline, was always beset with earlier super cyclones killing tens of thousands of people. This space technology enabled India to address these problems of communication, broadcasting, navigation, and a whole lot of resource monitoring, including crop assessment, crop yield, where to drill a bore well, and also beyond your borders, what is happening. If you want to see, space provides you a unique opportunity. Without permission of anybody, you can see what's happening there, provided you have the competent systems put into orbit. So India started its program, and India was the only country in the world which started its space activity for non-military purposes. But that's how it started. But today, you are seeing that India, after its initial period of struggle after independence, has risen in its economic capability. Today, you're probably the fourth largest economy and aspiring to reach the topmost by the time we reach 100 years of independence. And if that has to happen, space technology, which is going to be a very important capability, has to be actually in a way conquered. And today you have seen not only nation states, but private entities are also getting into this business. Like earlier they conquered land, ocean, airspace. Today they are trying to conquer space itself. You are talking about space tourism, space adventure, space exploitation, space habitation, you name it, in all these areas. And private entities are also entering that. And human being is looking at this capability of going beyond planet Earth to not only improve the information content necessary for sustainable living on planet Earth, but also using this capability for dominating over others, because world has always seen right from early times it is your competence and capability which allows you to occupy tables at different strata, different layers. Today, India, when it is trying to move ahead in its desire to reach to the top, the space technology or space economy is a huge economy of $1 trillion plus. And if India has to get a significant portion of that, it is possible only when more and more participants get into this arena. And it is here India has already committed itself that it will use its space technology not only for solving its problems on the ground, but also looking at providing opportunities for humans in space, while initially the plan was by the 75th year of independence, we should have had our Gaganyatris orbiting Earth and coming back. But because of COVID and other reasons, it got delayed. And one of the astronaut trainees just now is in the space as part of an alternative mechanism, but to gain experience. So India has already committed to putting its humans into space, putting its own space station by 2035, and landing on moon and bringing back by 2040. If you look at all this, opportunities available are huge, and also the problems are huge, because if you are looking at how to sustain life outside Earth and make this life live and then travel from moon as a stopover point, what needs to be done? So today, the opportunities are huge. India not only wants to use this space technological capability of launch vehicles, satellite applications, a host of them, for providing both better living conditions on Earth, but not only for that, but also providing necessary opportunities to the participants to improve their ability to participate in this domain and make not only successful entrepreneurial activity, but also solve many problems of future survival on Earth. As already you are aware, initially what happens is you want to demonstrate you have a capability. First task is to actually build a system, how to reach space. But then once you start doing that, then you start worrying about how to make it more efficient, and then what are the consequences of the activities you are doing. Today you are seeing, for example, Elon Musk is looking at putting 42,000 satellite constellation for providing internet connectivity to everybody on Earth. But then if you are going to have thousands and thousands of satellites operating in space, it provides actually many difficulties for a whole lot of activities. You cannot afford to leave all the non-functioning objects in space. So space debris becomes important. How to deal with it, like waste management on Earth, and then consequences of whatever things you are doing. If there are collisions, it creates Kessler syndrome, and then a huge number of additional objects get into space, causing problem. So here new opportunities come, and this is where the entrepreneurs are looking at what needs to be done for sustaining the activity in space, for cleaning up the space, and also making use of the new opportunities to get new materials which can be used for providing different kinds of solution. Today, in terms of pharma also, it's seen that if you can do manufacturing in space, you can achieve certain characteristics which would not be possible on Earth. So tomorrow, if you are looking at similar things in other planetary bodies, asteroids or moon, there could be many opportunities. So what India has done, it has changed its strategy. It is allowing more and more private entrepreneurs to come in, and they are also showcasing building institutions like InSpace for promoting people, enabling them, and then also providing opportunities both in terms of funding and in terms of setting up competitions and in terms of allowing them to conduct certain activities where they can get some benefits of the funding. One of the example is that can you build a satellite as a service? That means you don't worry about all the payloads that are required. You take the responsibility of putting a satellite into orbit, keep running it. A person who comes up with a payload, host is hosted on this, and he provides the service. So satellite as a service, then actually in the future you are also having space tourism, space adventure, space exploitation, moon as a habitat, using moon as a stopover point, and then there is a whole lot of robotic activities which will happen between now and 2040. A number of opportunities may be available where what you have desired can be taken and left on the surface of the moon, which could later get converted into resource utilization, manufacturing, a whole lot of things are there. So in this context, today, India is at a very critical juncture where the government is trying to enable more and more people to participate in this arena, and then also trying to look at how it can create a conducive environment. So obviously, it is a area which we are all moving ahead for the first time. There is no back historical examples, and when you have such new situation, it is a real opportunity, because you don't have to replicate what others have done, but you can create your own, and you can make things happen in a manner which others appreciate. And it is here that ISRO has shown to the country that the way to move ahead is not always look at what others have done and replicate them, but look at what others have done, make use of the technological tools that are accessible to you, but use them for solving the problems you want to solve. And this is where India, like I said, India was the only country which started space for non-military activities. And then by the time in the last 4 to 5 decades, of course, today, India also cannot any longer remain immune to what is happening around your neighborhood, because space has become a frontier where unless you have the necessary competence, you will get ignored and things will move ahead. So you definitely need to build your competence. Just to give you one example here, very shortly you will have a program called NISR, NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar Mission, which is a $1+ billion program where India is spending only 0.1, rest is spent by America. But a satellite is built by India, launched by India. One half of the payload of this synthetic aperture radar, one frequency is built by India, integrated with the payload being built by JPL. And this whole mission is going to happen very shortly. Willingness to work with India for such a complicated mission came because India demonstrated through Chandrayaan and also its own synthetic aperture radar mission that you have the competence. So world recognizes you for your competence, and it's only when you demonstrate your competence, people will recognize you. And you can do it not always doing everything indigenously, but what is accessible to you, you use, but you think of using it very differently from what others have done, and also use it in a manner for addressing the problems which you want to solve. And if you do that, definitely you will move ahead of others, and then you can become actually path bearers or new torch bearers to the whole activity. So let me complete my talk here, just reminding you of 3 things. One is space is a frontier, which is a very essential component for human existence, because it is through space a whole lot of activities, both for ensuring survival on planet Earth, sustainability of life, and also protecting yourself from space through others gaining higher competence becomes essential. And a country like India cannot afford to remain oblivious to what happens in space. And here, the technological capability that needs to be built with the new thought processes of bringing in machine learning, artificial intelligence, new semiconductor systems, in all of that, you have already seen the world initially moves in one direction, then very soon realizes that it has hit the limit, and unless you change and move ahead, you cannot go to the next level. So that's how in digital technology, you already hit the limits of materials not being capable of going beyond certain frequencies, feature size going below nanometers, quantum is a requirement. So in all these areas, there are new opportunities. Nature shows us the way. If we can make use of it, we can definitely be among the equals at the top of the table. So let me take this opportunity to compliment Time Matrix for bringing a whole lot of new generation, showcasing to them the opportunities available to them and also showcasing to them the challenges that are there. So let me wish all of you a great success in your endeavor. Thank you.